I've been really struggling to come on here and talk about the Lindsay Clancy case and not the details and not what I think happened or anything like that. But I've been watching it pretty carefully and closely, and I've been paying attention to the psychiatrists, and I've been paying attention to the people who talk about her. And they're, aside from the crazy amount of medications that they put her on, off, which as a social worker who has seen people who are very mentally ill go on, off medication, you're creating your own creature here. Aside from that, I think she was so failed in so many ways, and I think that so many women are failed in so many ways. And I think that there are, and again, kind of working in this industry before, I think there are so many barriers up that prevent women from getting the help that they really need and from saying what they're really experiencing. You know, there's people who are going on the stand saying, well, she didn't say this and she didn't say this. Of course she didn't. Of course she didn't. Why would we say that? Why would we say? I'm surprised she said as much as she did, I'll be honest, because as some of you know, I released a debut poetry book this year called Shadow Confessions, which I talk a lot about PMDD and postpartum and the extreme depths of darkness that I experienced during postpartum and during PMDD. And I remember going days on end without sleeping, maybe an hour, sometimes not at all, sometimes an hour here, 2 hours there. And I remember being a complete maniac. I remember being so out of my mind that I was starting to see things. And in my book, some of the poetry, if you didn't know that, it might make sense now. And you don't want to tell people that. Especially it was my first, especially when it's your first and everyone around you is telling you how amazing that this is. There are so many ways that mothers are failed before they even have their baby. There are so many ways that we are made to think that we have no idea what we're doing before we have our baby. The way that the doctors speak, the way that one of the psychiatrists was talking, multiple of them, so condescending, so robotic, so unempathetic. I mean, some of the responses, I know these responses, I know where they're from. They're from, I'm working under a license here and I do have a duty to help, but I also have an obligation to not do too much. The entire mental health industry is becoming so dehumanizing that it is no wonder that women are falling apart and they're falling through the cracks and they're lying about the things that are actually happening. They're lying about how they actually feel. They're lying about what they're seeing, what they're hearing, how they like, and why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? I mean, the fear of getting your child taken away. There's very few women out there that I know that have complete tribes, not just of parents who are there to help, not just of like sisters and mothers and aunts who are all like gathered around to like help with the health and well-being of the actual mother. Most of us rely on our doctors and we go there and we get lectured. We get lectured before the baby, during the birth, after the birth. I completely switched practices in hospitals after my first because I felt so dehumanized. I couldn't imagine what everybody was talking about, why they were saying this was so wonderful, such a wonderful experience. It felt horrible. It felt horrible. It felt like I was just a machine. It felt like I wasn't being taken seriously at all about any of my concerns. It felt like they were just worried about the scans and the tests and all the things that they had to do to release us. They made you feel completely inadequate about being a parent and then said, oh, okay, and now here you go and take the baby and go take care of it because now you're adequate, now you're good. What do you mean? What do you mean? You didn't empower me? You didn't provide any support that made me feel like I could go and actually do this by myself. You basically made me feel like I had to rely on you for 9 months and now you're just going to send me home and say, figure it out. Come back to the appointments, come to all these different appointments, which are also robotic. And the screenings they're not what they should be. And I know the intention behind mental health is good because I worked in it. And I went in meaning to help people. But one of the reasons I haven't gone back is because I don't feel like it's going in the direction that I can support anymore. I don't feel like it is supporting women in feeling the absolute joy of being a mother. It's so focused on the medical. It's so focused on the appointments and the tests and screenings and the insurance and like, how can we do the best without getting in trouble? That's what it felt like. And when I switched practices, it was different. It was definitely different. I went with midwives, and even though I was having a VBAC and they said you have to have a physician present, I said I want midwives, because God, they felt spiritually and like they felt so much better than having a doctor. It felt like I was actually bringing a life into this world. It felt like they were listening to me. It felt like they were embracing this beautiful moment with me, because it is beautiful. But it can be really not beautiful when you don't have the right people around you. And I don't have a lot of family here. So I didn't get, and my mom was luckily able to come for some of the births, but like I didn't have that tribe of like, I have a lot of aunts and I just not around them. I didn't have that like that full blown like beautiful bubble of love to like bring the baby into the world. And this is why people are doing home births. And this is why people are going away from modern medicine. And this is why people are going with midwives. And there are instances you need doctors. I needed doctors during some of my procedures, and it was necessary, but God, did I go with a midwife when I could, because look at this trial. Look at these professionals going up there talking about all the different drugs and all the different treatments and all the different assessments and the screenings and what she said and what she didn't say and what she was experiencing but didn't say. And for God's sakes, like, where was the... And then I sat down with her, and I held her hand, and I said, how can I help you as a whole? How can we help you feel more confident and feel loved, feel like you're doing a really good job because you brought 3 lives into this world? How can we strengthen you as a person, as a woman, as a mother? Don't throw a bunch of pills at her. Tell her she should go to therapy, give her another assessment. I know that there's certain questions on these assessments that are red flags, and one of the biggest worries as a mother is that your babies are going to get taken away from you, whether something's going to happen to them, they're not going to make it through the birth, you're not going to be able to keep them alive, you're not a good mother, you don't know what you're doing. And when those beliefs are backed up by like, oh, you feel crappy? Yeah, let's give you a medication. That'll make you feel better. So now you've already told me that now there's something wrong with me. It has to be treated. All of these beliefs are probably real. That's not how this should be going. That's not how it used to go. That's not how it went in tribes. That's not how it went in indigenous communities. That's not, I mean, this is new. This is new, and this is why you're seeing mothers do insane things. Because they're not being supported. They're not feeling loved. They're not feeling capable. They're not feeling empowered. They're not feeling heard. And because we know we're not being heard, some people they stop trying. They stop trying to be heard. And those are the ones that we really need to worry about. Those are the ones that we really need to show a whole lot of support for. And not the fake support. And not just the support that fits into the plan. Like actual human support.